Hello and welcome to Pink and Blue Mom Chats. I am your host, Esther Waxman. It used to be hosted by Nicole Bloomberg, but she developed Shpilkus in the Ganesh point, and she is recovering nicely in Boca Raton, Florida. Thank you very much.
We wish her well.
We wish her well, and we're so excited to be here today with Chana Ross. She is the owner of Vital Physiotherapy.
Vital. It's hard with the accent.
Vital Physiotherapy and Wellness, a women's health and pelvic physiotherapy clinic located in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Her interest is women's health. It developed during her pregnancies with her 3 beautiful children.
I have 4 now.
4
I
children.
had a baby.
Oh, you did. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
We want to wish a mazel. Everybody comment below. Mazel. She has 4 beautiful children. Rebecca, Maya, Isaac.
And now Molly.
And Molly.
Molly's almost 4 months old.
And you look better than I do.
Stop it. Well, Esther, at your age,
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Sometimes
Women's bodies are beautiful.
You develop the mommy tummy. It's diastasis. It developed after my 2 beautiful children, and I never got better.
And it's never too late, though.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
And that's what we're going to be discussing today.
Yeah.
Because Esther sometimes, she pishes on herself. But we'll get into that. Chana provides prenatal and postpartum physiotherapy as well as rehabilitation for all forms of pelvic pain and dysfunction. She is a sought-after educator and teacher, and she regularly speaks about pelvic health. She is one of the top experts in Toronto. I've heard about her from many people.
Your friends?
I've heard about it. I've heard about you from people that are my age.
Yep.
And from people like Sam. She does diastasis.
Watching.
Samantha Montpetit Wing.
Yeah, you did it. You did well.
Along with their team of highly skilled physiotherapists and allied health practitioners, Hannah loves assisting her clients of all ages, especially people like me, or yourselves, you young children that just had babies. You think that you're excluded, and you don't need to worry because you're not wearing Depends. But you need to worry about it, right, Chana?
Well, what we're going to talk about today is that, Esther, Depends are not, that's not inevitable. A lot of people think, it's part of a normal aging process, and it's absolutely not. So, I'm going to teach you a couple things.
Sometimes I wear Depends. I do. But Morty, when he's sleeping next to me, he doesn't want, me to pee in the bed. He gets very nervous. Doesn't really happen, but Anyway, so people of all stages of pelvic health issues, such as diastasis recti that I mentioned, the mummy tummy, get pelvic pain, incontinence, which is like peeing on yourself. Even if a little drop comes out, it's still considered incontinence.
100%.
Pelvic organ prolapse, what is that?
That's when your organs inside your pelvis are starting to descend down and out. And I'll explain that.
And then they just plop on the floor.
Yeah, so
right.
a lot of the bladder lift surgeries, a lot of hysterectomies can actually be prevented.
Who knew about all this stuff? Pregnancy preparation, pre and postnatal conditions, as well as labor and delivery support. So Hannah does it all. She's a one-stop shop. And if you need her, you could visit her up on Bathurst. No, I'm just kidding. Where are you located?
Bathurst and St. Clair is not pretty. It's not very far.
Okay.
St. Clair and Christie area. Midtown.
Okay. So she's very accessible, and we will be providing contact information. Please comment below if you have any questions, or you could call us at 888-88, and we'll be taking some calls later. Okay. Anyway, I hope you found parking. I know that I had to circle for 10 minutes, and then I found an amazing spot next to What a Bagel. Not to mention that they're the best bagels in town. They're like butter.
Did you put some schmear on the bagel?
I bought some schmear actually for us to have after, and some tuna, because what kind of host would I be? Or I wouldn't even be considered a mensch if I didn't serve my guests. Nicole wouldn't be very happy. She'd be upset with you. A good Jewish mother, that's what they do. They put a little schmear on a bagel, they serve it. Okay, so let's get right into it. All of you, please strap on your seatbelt and get ready to be entertained and to be informed about a very important topic. So, what is pelvic physiotherapy, and is it new?
So, pelvic physiotherapy is actually just a specialized area of physiotherapy. So, all pelvic physiotherapists are actually regular physiotherapists, and then they do continuing education in pelvic health, and then you have to get rostered with the College of Physiotherapists, meaning you have to show them that you have the correct amount of training and in order to do pelvic physiotherapy. Because pelvic physiotherapy is, we call ourselves like the gynecologist of physiotherapists, which makes people a little bit nervous when you said that. I see your face going.
That's a little bit scary. I don't really like people touching my hoo-ha.
JJ. The pelvic floor muscles are muscles like any other. So as physiotherapists, they need to be, we train them. And when they're not doing their job, that's when we start to get a whole bunch of different conditions.
Well, what is the pelvic floor?
Okay, I did bring my pelvis with me.
Okay.
And I'm going to demonstrate for you what the pelvic floor is. Okay, so this is a pelvis.
Well, that makes it a lot easier because people like me, they don't understand.
It's a visual assistant.
Yes.
The pelvic floor is actually 3 layers of muscles that sit at the bottom of the pelvis. So if you look here, see there's all that red inside?
Yeah.
Those are muscles. Okay? And the pelvic floor it's like a sandwich. It's like a nice cream cheese and Lux sandwich, Esther, at the base of the pelvis. There's an outer layer, a middle layer, and a deep layer of muscles, and they kind of sit here all the time. And they have 5 rounds. So it's a good thing you're sitting because we're going to go through them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first job of the muscles is, like you mentioned, is to keep you continent. And continence means making sure you're not releasing pee or feces when you don't want to, and allowing you to release them when you do want to. So,
and some people I know, like my friend Barbara, she says that she didn't pee on herself when she was a young girl after having children, but then as she got older, it developed into a problem. Is that true?
So it is true that it is common, but it is not true that it is normal. So
but you can prevent it.
You can absolutely prevent it, and just like every other muscle in your body that you have to, use it or lose it throughout your life, you have to keep using these muscles. The other element is they're also affected by hormones. So as your hormones change later on in life, estrogen actually really plumps up those muscles. So if you didn't train the muscles properly postpartum, and we recommend that every woman postpartum gets assessed by a pelvic physio.
Why doesn't the gynecologist tell all the young ladies to go see a physio?
We're working on it.
That's a big problem, huh?
Actually,
upsets me.
Is your tag bothering you there?
This is in case I want to return it to Blue's. Because you never know, and sometimes I'm sorry, I should have tucked it in like so, and then afterwards, no one knows, and if I don't like it, I could just return.
Perfect.
It's a Jewish mother's trick.
Yeah.
That one's for free.
In France and in Germany, actually, every single woman gets 10 sessions of pelvic physio covered by the government. Every woman gets pelvic physio.
So we're going to write the government. Please write your government.
So
right
there are a number of petitions going around to do that. So we can connect you with that if you feel strong.
I think we should share that on the Pink and Blue group. Comment below if you agree. Okay, go on with your sandwich.
Go on. So those muscles. More apparent.
Oh, that's why I'm pishing on myself.
Right? Yes. But the point here is they can totally be retrained, and it's not enough.
Even at my age?
Even. There is no point at which you cannot be helped. For sure.
That's wonderful.
So the question I get often is, listen, Chana, I don't pee. It's only when I'm jumping on the trampoline and I have a full bladder and then I cough that I leak. But the good news is that there's definitely help. The bad news is, even if it's only in those certain instances, it's a black and white issue. You either leak or you don't. And so if you're leaking under any circumstances, that is a sign that these muscles are not doing their job.
What if you have diastasis, like the mommy tummy, like so?
What is it?
Like me, I have the mommy tummy. I have diastasis. I have probably have a prolapse if I'm using the term correctly.
She did good.
And I just want to know if how do you repair it from down below with your sandwiches?
So that is actually one of the jobs of the pelvic floor as well. Is actually it's part of your inner core. So when we use the term core and you go to your exercise classes and they say suck in your core, hold in your core, your core, your core, your core, they're usually referring to your six-pack muscles and your obliques, which are really important abdominal muscles, but they're not your core. They're not your stabilizing muscles. Your core is really made up of your breathing diaphragm, which is your breathing muscle that sits at the base of your ribs, your pelvic floor, hence why we're here talking, your innermost abdominals, and your innermost back muscles. Diastasis happens during pregnancy, and it is totally normal. We want your abs, which diastasis basically means a spreading or a stretching of the tissue between your six-pack muscles. So you've got three-pack muscle here and a three-pack muscle here,
and then it just kind of falls out,
right? So
in between.
Well, there's
but that it doesn't.
If
didn't repair itself. It didn't repair itself.
Right. So if the tissue is stretched, you're gonna feel like you look like you're pregnant because you're.
I do. I'll show you. Look, let me show you, Brianne. Show the mummy tummy. I look like I'm pregnant. You see it? It just and then it, you know, thank God I'm my age and I'm not a young girl. But when I was younger, it was a big problem, which is why I got this gorgeous sweater. It's gorgeous. It's not even an outfit. It's like a getup.
So the diastasis we can rehabilitate by first training these muscles.
Let me hold it up.
You hold it.
Okay.
So what should happen in a normally functioning core is when you take a breath in, your diaphragm is kind of like an upside down U-shaped muscle that sits up underneath the ribs, up here. Okay. And when you take a breath in, it kind of pushes down into your tummy and allows your lungs to take in more air. So your lungs expand, the diaphragm pushes down out of the way. Does that make sense?
It should. Does anyone have any? Is anyone asking questions? No.
Good. Okay. So as you inhale, everything pushes down, and your pelvic floor muscles get pushed down,
and then it makes
relax.
you pee.
So no, they should just actually relax.
Oh, okay.
But as you exhale, they should spring back up. You want a closer look? I'll let you play with the organs.
No, so what I didn't understand why you pee on yourself then.
So if they're very similar issues, but they're not directly correlated. So just if you have one doesn't mean you're going to have another, but they very often come together.
So, but if you repair down below in the vajayjay, she likes, that's the new term, okay? Write it down. Okay, so the vajayjay means vagina. If any of you don't know, just because we don't want to confuse people. All these people are using these acronyms in the Pink and Blue group, and they shorten everything, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Okay, so if you fix down below.
So if you inhale and your pelvic floor should relax. If you exhale, it should contract, and it should keep this pressure. It's a pressure system. You inhale, you exhale, right? When you exhale, your pelvic floor actually should contract, and it should cue your inner abs and your inner back muscles to contract as well. So every breath, this system maintains that pressure inside your tummy. Mm-hmm. When you have diastasis, that's actually a release that pressure system has been affected. So when your tummy should be held in, it's kind of hanging out because that tissue that was
like a beer belly.
A beer belly is also diastasis. Very often.
So how do you fix the men that just screw?
Same thing, men have pelvic floors too.
But how do you repair them from down below? You can't.
Well, you teach them. We teach
them breathing.
We treat them.
They're lucky. They don't have anyone going up in them.
Are not relaxing well, or if they're not contracting well. Both of in order for for this system, in order for your inner abs to get stronger, you have to start off by training that pelvic floor and make sure that when you inhale, it's actually relaxing. And when you exhale, it can contract. If it's not relaxing, which is, by the way, one of the most common things that we see. Most people hear pelvic floor and they think, I have to Kegel, but that's not the truth. Most often, people are really, really Kegels and don't know how to relax themselves.
Up a blue bed when I'm doing my Kegel exercises. So that it's, to the back.
But you gotta suck up from the bottom,
suck it up from the bottom. Oh, we cut it up. So then we're back. We're having technical difficulties. So then you suck it up from the bottom like this, and you were supposed to pick up a blueberry, but I was picking up a grape. That's what it felt like. It was too much. And she said you need to relax a little bit.
Probably, yeah.
And then she told me you need to see Chana. And that's how we got to know. This is the God's honest truth of how I got to you. This is what you told me. So, but I want to know still we didn't get to the point. How do you repair it from down below?
So we assess. We do an internal assessment. So most people picture again going to the gynecologist, the speculum, this whole thing. It's a very gentle exam. And we get you to Kegel. We see, are those muscles able to activate? Are they able to relax? And if you're not able to relax, we teach you how to relax. And if you're not able to Kegel, we teach you how to Kegel. Because even
well, what she said, Sam, it wasn't a Kegel. It was a different type of thing. So it was the umbrella.
Right, so it's a different cue. But for some people, when you say Kegel, they do something completely, they squeeze their legs, they squeeze their bums. They're not actually using these muscles here.
And you should activate it with your abdominals at the same time.
So what
it's all
we
activated together.
Yeah, so what we have to do is you train that inner system first, but then with diastasis, we actually have to retrain the abdominals as well, because through pregnancy, everything basically gets stretched, right? We know that your tummy stretches in order to accommodate a baby, and actually your breathing diaphragm gets shoved up to your throat, and your pelvic floor is carrying an extra, let's say between 20 to 60 extra pounds, and that whole system needs to be rehabilitated after pregnancy. So,
a lot of these mothers, they're very narcissistic. I'm sorry. And all they want to do is just, go under the knife, get a tummy tuck or the boobs, a lot of these young girls, now they're an experiment for clients. But do you agree with getting the surgeries or is this a better alternative? Because I heard that the rehabilitation after surgery is challenging and it doesn't always fix the problem.
Well, what I think what
knowledgeable Esther.
What it comes down to is many women feel like their bodies are failing them after pregnancy because they look different and they aren't necessarily given the tools to feel strong and like themselves again. So when
you're all gorgeous,
yes,
all of you,
and I think we're being sent messages that body after pregnancy isn't beautiful, and I think what we need to talk about is changing
body image perception and loving yourself just like Esther does. Every night I give myself a big hug and I look in the mirror and I say, "You're gorgeous."
As you are.
I am. I'm gorgeous.
And so, am I against surgery? Absolutely not. I think it is absolutely a woman's choice to decide what she wants to do with her body. Having said that, I do think that there is so much you can do to rehabilitate and feel great about yourself without going under the knife, because we also suggest rehabilitating after surgery. I think the same way that you would do surgery for a knee or for an elbow or whatever, you would do prehab, you should do the same thing with your abdominals and even with your breast tissue, because there's a lot of range of motion issues that happen afterwards. That's physio jargon.
But is there a problem when people do this, type of rehabilitation,
Yeah.
is it always maybe sometimes you can't fix it if it's diastasis, if it's too bad, and sometimes they need to get surgery, or what happens?
There are instances where the tissue itself is weak and requires surgery. Having said that,
Down below they need surgery in the vajayjay, or up above?
Okay, so abdominally they may need surgery. It's a very rare case where we tell people to do physio and do your homework. If you're gonna go for physio, do your homework, please, for at least a year before we make a determination. Because sometimes it seems like it's gonna be such a long stretch of rehabilitation, and that things happen really quickly. Your body responds amazingly, and sometimes it seems like it's gonna be really short, and those bodies need more time. Every person's body is different, and so you need to give it a good shot, and do your homework. Did I say do your homework? Do your homework in order for it to be helpful.
Is it
about it keeping you continent. By the way, both for bowel movements and urinary continence, right? Making sure you're not leaking either. We talked about the pelvic floor being part of this inner core, right, and helping stabilize your back and strengthen your abs from the inside out. The other job that we touched upon this earlier, was prolapse. So one of the major jobs of the pelvic floor is actually to hold up your pelvic organs. So in the pelvic floor, we actually have 3 orifices: urethra, where your pee comes out of, your vagina, or vajayjay as we prefer, and your anus. And on top of those sits a whole bunch of internal organs. Okay, so on top of your urethra, where your pee comes out of, sits your bladder, where you hold your pee, otherwise known as urine. On top of your vagina sits your uterus, and on top of your anus sits your rectum.
That's
You can all play with this.
That's a nice picture for you.
There you go. Okay. So, can you see that?
I sure can.
Yeah, you can see this. So, by ligaments, which are connective tissue pieces, and they should be held from below with your pelvic floor muscles. So you need your pelvic floor muscles to be strong. Whoop! I lost my rectum. To be strong, to be flexible, to be coordinated, so that they're doing all the jobs of holding this up. Now, sometimes with chronic constipation, sometimes with a very fast or very long delivery, if there's been constant pressure from above, those ligaments start to lengthen. But this can also happen over time, over 20 years. If your muscles are below are not supporting these organs, over time those ligaments from above start to stretch out.
This is just giving me serious.
And what happens is the front wall of the vagina is actually the back wall of the bladder, and the back wall of the vagina is the front wall of the rectum. And if those ligaments start to get looser and the pelvic floor isn't doing its job holding it up, what we start to get is the bladder falling backwards into the vagina, the uterus kind of coming from here.
Do you get pain in the vagina?
It's not painful. You feel heaviness.
That's
heaviness,
a big problem.
Right?
What about when you wear a
rectum falling back?
tampon? If you feel heaviness, is that a problem?
It depends on a whole bunch of things, but what people describe pelvic organ prolapse is often feeling like a tampon that's kind of
To be embarrassed about, because this is why we're talking about it, and I'm so grateful that you're here today, because these are true issues that every woman goes through that no one wants to talk about.
No.
And we're making light of it by having Esther Waxman do the interview.
I thought that Nicole was on vacation.
Nicole got Spilkus in the Gesundheitsbund and is recovering in Boca, and that's why Esther's here. But in addition, I think they chose the network, the PINK&BLUE network, to have Esther on for that reason.
Yeah, and I think that people tend to be embarrassed to talk about this stuff, But the more we talk about it, the more we're gonna realize that there is help, and that it's, you know, these are muscles like any other. It's body parts like any other. We need to,
and it's a common issue that all women have. And I know your husbands go out and buy you tampons all the time. So it's, you know, but how do I know if I have a problem? Like, for example, when you made me laugh earlier, I peed a little bit, or sometimes, you know, I just piss on myself when I'm laying in bed.
So, for example, so there are a whole bunch of reasons, ways that you can tell, but very often we recommend, even if you don't have obvious symptoms, to get assessed, because things like prolapse are not, you don't always have symptoms with it. So common reasons that people come to see us are leaking urine, when you're coughing, sneezing, jumping, laughing.
Or laughing.
Yeah, or walking around, for sure. Another very common reason for people to come and see us is that they feel prolapse, they feel heaviness, they feel like they're not emptying their bowels properly, because when your rectum starts to fall into the vagina, if it starts to kind of hang forward a little bit, then you have trouble fully evacuating your bowels. So constipation or bowel issues are very often pelvic floor issues. I think I have all these issues. Check.
I think I do. Esther's not going to lie.
Painful intercourse or lack of sensation with intercourse. So the pelvic floor muscles.
Morning, are you listening to this?
Are really involved in healthy sexual function. And this is another thing that, you know, that very often women are like, oh, I had a baby, so of course it hurts. Just have a glass.
Be honest with all of you, I just have wine in my cup. Makes it all better. Cheers.
The ability to have pain-free and enjoyable intercourse is, you know, a basic bodily function that we take for granted.
We all need it. We all want to feel wanted and sexy, even at my age.
Morning.
And
so people will come in with those symptoms, but they will also very often come in with what they call mummy tummy, which I kind of resent that name. I'm not gonna lie. I want it to be, our bodies are beautiful and produce beautiful children, but need to be rehabilitated after having a baby. And so how
long after having a baby do you want to get rehabilitation?
We suggest after your 6-week follow-up with your care provider, so with your GP, your midwife, or your obstetrician, to come and get assessed.
And what about wearing like a band around your stomach to hold it all together?
During the first 6 to 8 weeks, something that's like a support garment, similar to what Belly's
like a Spanx.
So the issue with something like a Spanx is if you're downward pressure onto the pelvic floor, which puts you
from belly.
Yeah, so I like their product.
It's like a wrap.
Yeah.
And it goes, I have one, but I don't know it. And it goes around and it velcros, it sucks it all in.
But it also lifts everything.
But it lifts. And when I work out, I wear it. And then, you know, at one point, I was wearing it every day, and at Shabbos dinner, they would saw me and they would say it was hanging out, and I would have to explain it, and, you know, it was a whole thing.
But yeah, so those are very common reasons why people come to pelvic physio. Those are symptoms. But what we're seeing now is women are being more proactive about their health, and they're coming during their pregnancies to learn. During delivery, we have to learn how to relax our pelvic floor, so to preempt and learn all of those ways to use their muscles.
Can you give us an example
of how
to relax? Everyone get ready, okay?
So one of the things that you talked about with Sam was actually how to contract those muscles, and we do that on the exhale. So
I didn't do it right.
You didn't do it right? Okay. So
I did it all backwards.
For us, it all comes back down to breathing. So if you place your hands on either side of your ribs, okay? Your ribs are a little higher, Esther. There you go. Good.
You never know, it might be up here. So my boobs are sagging, and then they go down over here, so it's a little different for the young girls.
So you're gonna take a slow, gentle breath in. Okay, and can you see how Esther's breathing right up here? We're actually gonna try to take a diaphragmatic breath. So that means thinking about your ribs expanding 360 degrees. And in order to do that, we have to make sure your ribs are over your pelvis. So instead of looking up at the sky, can you look down a little bit? Good. And now try. So can you feel how it's different? You're actually allowed.
I feel like an umbrella expanding
Exactly.
in all directions.
Yes. Now, as you're sitting there and you're inhaling, can you feel your sits bones? Your sits bones are the little bones underneath your bum. They're very hard. You feel them, Esther?
I feel that
Sit
there's
on
a lot of mush down there, but
you should be able to feel them.
I do.
So
I feel like I'm in a yoga class.
it's right. That's why we love yoga. Now, prenatally, we actually teach women to visualize a flower blooming down and out of their vagina as well. Because
like a lotus.
Just like a lotus flower, it's beautiful. So the reason why we do that is because when your pelvic floor is contracted, when we're getting these muscles to activate, they should be squishing and lifting up. When we're teaching women to prepare for delivery, we're actually getting them to drop and widen. So
I thank you so much for, it just makes me feel so much better. So, all of you, please talk among yourselves. And we're going to take a call. Please call 888-8888 and you could talk to Hannah. Okay.
Oh, we have a call.
We have a call.
We have a call.
Hold on. Hello. Welcome to Mom Chat Monday. You are on the air. Okay. What's your question? If I had a cesarean section, do I need a physio?
This is such a good question.
This is Martha.
Martha, that's a fabulous question, Martha. What we know that this is one of the most common questions that we get, and people think that it's the delivery that actually changes the pelvic floor. And your delivery method makes a big difference. But the reality is it's the 9 months of pregnancy where everything shifts. Your organs actually shift up and out of position as your uterus grows. When you have a cesarean section, they cut through. There's 4 layers of abdominal. Is Martha still on the phone?
Martha's listening.
Okay.
She's listening to the...
There's 4 layers of abdominal muscles.
I'm going to hold it up.
Okay. There's the 6-pack muscles, your obliques, which are your crunch and twist kind of muscles, and your innermost abdominal muscles, your transversus abdominis. And they cut through all of that, which means they cut through this whole core system in order to deliver your baby.
It's very messy.
So with a vaginal delivery, your baby comes out of your vagina expands and contracts, so we have to retrain that as well. But both of those affect this system differently, but it's actually the pregnancy itself that makes the biggest difference.
Martha, hold on. Hello, Martha. Yes? She said that was very helpful.
Oh, Martha, I'm so happy, Martha.
And Hannah says that you could find her at Vital Physiotherapy and Wellness on Instagram or on her Facebook page, Vital Physiotherapy Toronto. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Anyway, that is all the time that we have for today and for this week. Is there anything else you would like to add, Hannah?
I would like for women to know that just because you've had a baby does not mean it's okay for your body to not feel good and to not function well, and you can expect more and you can expect to feel better.
And all of you, I want you to all know that you're gorgeous inside and out, and don't be embarrassed of your mummy tummy. Embrace it and show your tiger stripes. And I want to say, to Hannah, that it's truly a blessing from God that you're here and that you do this for women of all ages, especially someone like myself, Esther, And I know these young girls just have babies and they work out and they don't want to, they don't think that they're going to need Depends when they're older, but maybe you will. And it's a very important topic. And thank you for sharing. If you have any questions, please comment below or message Chana. You could PM her, which is your lingo that you use for private message. and her website is vitalphysiotherapy.com. We will add it. And you could follow her, like I said, on Instagram at Vital Physiotherapy and Wellness. Contact Chana today. Thank you very much. And God willing, Cole Bloomberg will be joining us again soon. And we hope that you're recovering nicely and Bugger-a-ton.
We're sending her warm wishes. And
I will send my aunt over and she will bring you some chicken soup. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It was so informative, and I'm happy that I got to be here today.